Our school policy project by Tierra Chapman and Elizabeth Harvey.
The identified need in the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District is chronic absenteeism and tardiness of students. This has been a continuous area of concern, and our current district policy in the Code of Conduct and identified in the Parent and Student Handbook is vague and is not clear in what makes a student truant and what consequences are followed through after a student is truant.
Our purpose is to increase the communication between parents and school staff regarding truancy. We want to educate our parents about the correlation between attendance and academic success. We want to make sure that the consequences regarding the policy are clear, and we want to increase parent accountability in getting students to school on time. That will decrease the student absenteeism and tardiness throughout the district overall.
The benefits of a policy revision is that students are more likely to achieve academic success that is on track and on target for their grade levels. Being present at school closes academic gaps amongst the groups of students. Relationships among staff, students, and parents increase when the policy is enforced and clearly communicated. There will be higher graduation rates of students, and students will leave high school, college, and career ready.
Regarding the integrity, fairness, and ethics of our policy, we believe that a revised truancy policy that is made plain to students, parents, and staff will ensure the highest academic success of students if followed with integrity. We want to have clear communication of the policy so that it meets the fairness and is ethically appropriate.
Our policy addresses 4 standards of the American Association of School Administrators. Standard 1, which makes the education and well-being of students the fundamental value of all decision making. Standard 3, which supports the principle of due process and protects civil and human rights of all individuals. Standard 4, which implements local, state, and national laws. And Standard 6, which pursues appropriate measures to correct those laws, policies, and regulations that are not consistent with sound educational goals or that are not in the best interest of children.
In regards to Newman University's conceptual framework, this policy addresses caring educators, collaborative educators, and ethical educators.
Our school policy provides fairness for parents so that they are clear on state compulsory attendance laws and requirements for what constitutes truancy. We need to make sure that parents understand the effect that academics have on their children, and that if parents are misinformed on state statutes, they may be held negligible for their children's education. If students become truants, like in the case in regards to JB versus Missouri, which took place in 2001, parents can be held negligent, like in this case where a child did not receive enough hours of schooling in the academic school year.
When it comes to protection of students and staff, students are protected by not having to be removed from parents' custody, whereas the state becomes the parent of the child due to negligence, as in the case of SCOMA versus the Illinois in 1974. The student's civil and individual rights are protected, and as far as staff is concerned, it ensures that the educator fulfills the duty of properly educating students if attendance requirements are met by the student.
Our policy promotes working with members of the community. When parents enroll their children in preschool or kindergarten, there would be a mandatory informational meeting about the district's policy and lasting impacts of truancy. If there are students who are truant, the parents of those students would have mandatory meetings throughout the school year. They would not only receive information about the effects of truancy, but this would be a place where parents and educators can problem solve on how to get students to school and how to help parents as needed. Students will also be required to make an effort to complete work they missed when they were absent, and starting at the middle school level, students would need to attend a truancy seminar each time they become truant.
When it comes to the students' needs, diversity, and equity, we believe that in order for all students to have an equal opportunity to education, then they must be present to receive that education. In a school district with families from low socioeconomic status, there is an urgency for students to receive quality, rigorous education daily, and to be able to close those learning gaps that are present in the community. We believe that the communication with our families of our ELLs in their native language also needs to happen to make sure that our families are aware of the policies and the cultural differences so they can be addressed.
Here are references, and thank you for viewing our presentation.